Because I'm 6'2" today, but I wasn't when I was a kid. So I'm um I'm going back to and I think the name of the YouTube channel and the title of what I picked up was in Angelo Dundee's having passed away. So back in that summer, now you're in California and you're 2 years older than I am. So
Uh-huh.
I'm in Darien, Connecticut, Weed Beach. My friend Bill Lord, Creighton Drury, Bruce Challenor, Kevin Marshall, Dick Adams. We're listening to The Mouth on the radio. And we had just heard how Sonny Liston took Floyd Patterson out. And it was like, who could take Floyd Patterson out? Sonny Liston, they said, could kill a man with one punch.
Yeah, he was bad.
He could break people's arms if you kept your arms down. I mean, literally, Ali started to study him. And he wasn't Ali back then. He was Cassius Clay. We didn't even know who this Ali was. And so, the slave owner, Clay, and all of the above, all summer long, after we had, listened to, and you couldn't watch this on TV. You could listen to it on the radio because they had a big purse and they had money that they had to hustle. So he he comes out of nowhere. Clay does, and he's just
Uh-huh.
mouth, 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 and we're saying, "Who the fuck is this dude?" As he's mouthing, mouth. This is well before 2 years before the Beatles. We even knew that there were Beatles. We even knew that in England there was any music. We didn't even know anything about England. We were in '62 listening to just coming out of the Four Seasons. Big Girls Don't Cry, Sherry. Um, Stevie Wonder came on the scene with Finger Poppin' Time. He was only like 12 years old. And then who else? By the time we were rounding the corner and
Well,
in,
that's even before the Beach Boys.
yeah, well, the Beach Boys started to come through, but Jan and Dean, um, and then all of a sudden in ninth grade, September, I think the fight was in September, or maybe it was February of 1964, but still, we were just getting to know who the Beatles were. Because in September of 1963, you were hearing songs like, come on, memory, um, the England swings like a pendulum do, Bobby's on bicycles 2 by 2, things like that.
Uh-huh.
And the 50s coming out of where I was in New York in 1956. I'm listening to How Much Is That Dog in the Window? Arr, arr, the one with the waggly tail. And then, out of nowhere, he ain't all about a hound dog, cracking all the time. You ain't never called a record, you ain't no friend. And I'm like, whoa. There was construction going on in Scarsdale in front of our house, the house that my dad built right after the war. He built it physically with my grandfather and my uncle's help and other friends of his on weekends. Then he would go to work and come home and work on the house built with cinder block. So, I mean, they had to change the well system when the septic system came in. We had a big, huge maple tree in front of the house and a little fence. And when they came in, they used to use at night kerosene. You'd fill these like they were almost like bombs. Fill them with kerosene, put a wick in there, and then they would keep them so you wouldn't be driving at night and fall into a hole. And the guys that were doing the construction, they were in the bucket trucks, taking us as kids for rides around the neighborhood. You would be shut down in a heartbeat if you did anything like that today. But that was what we were doing. And then suddenly we have to move out to Darien because of the confiscatory taxes that my father couldn't afford, and he hated Democrats. He viscerally hated Democrats, and he hated Roosevelt, and he hated all of the socialism, and he despised Neville Chamberlain, and all of the above. And when he had gone to the war, I knew nothing about any of it. I used to get scared when he would turn on the buzz saw, and he would laugh. He thought it was the funniest thing in the world when I would go running, putting my hands over my ears and crying, and run over my mother or my grandmother, and they would take me back home, we lived across town in Hartsdale, New York. And then my dad would be done, and he would come home that night, and he and his good friend Charlie Carvin, which was Joe Carvin's father. Did you know that they were high school buddies? They would play cards and they would drink, and my dad was a singer, and that was the routine, and it went on for 2 years until he finished the house. Anyhow, I digress. We wind up living in Connecticut, and I used to, on Friday nights, Dad would watch the Friday night fights all the time. You had even one of the wrestlers, Haystacks Calhoun. Do you remember Haystacks Calhoun?
Oh, sure.
Remember how big he was?
Oh, yeah. He always wore overalls.
Overalls, yeah. So, that's the story. And Ali is a little bit older than we are. I mean, Clay. And he's a black dude, and we don't know it. I didn't know anything about black dudes at all. That just all I knew was Aunt Jemima, and I mean, I loved those pancakes, and I loved the syrup, and I loved Nancy, who was the black maid who took care of us, and I loved her little son, and that's all I got to see. I wasn't on a plantation. I just heard stories. There was the tiger that I forgot the name of that children's book. And then there was Peter Pancake, and there was Bear Rabbit, and all of these were referrals to the South and cotton, and in them old cotton fields back home. When I was a little bitty baby, my mama would have rocked me in them old cotton fields back home. So here Ali is, Cassius Clay is, and all we have are AM radios. And remember, Ted, think about this. There were rarely a song that would go beyond 2 minutes. You had songs like, Sally, go round the roses. Sally, go round the roses. Roses, they can't hurt you.
Uh-huh.
The roses, they can't hurt you. Sally, don't you go downtown. I think that was like 62, and then we had the Detroit riots. What are some of the songs you remember from California? It was before the Mamas and the Papas, before, California Dreaming.
Sure.
What were some of the songs that you remember?
I actually moved to Connecticut in 1960.
Oh, okay.
And, but I remember, Jerry Lee Lewis, whole lot of shaking going on.
And Great Balls of Fire.
And what?
Great Balls of Fire. Goodness gracious, Great Balls of Fire. Yeah.
And Little Richard.
Yeah. I didn't even know who Little Richard was, because all I knew was Pat Boone, who took Tutti Frutti and turned it into white. I didn't know any of the, ow! I didn't know those sounds. They kept black music from us. They kept Little Richard in the corner because they were afraid all the girls were going to go after Little Richard. They were, because he played a piano like nobody.
Yeah.
And he came out of Macon, Georgia, and it's like, in my mind, where's Macon, Georgia? And so did James Brown. Ow! I feel good.
Yeah.
I knew that I
Uh,
would. Now, mono,
Ray,
mono, mono,
Ray
mono.
Charles came out of. He was from the Florida Panhandle, but I think
Yeah.
he really made it when he
Oh,
moved to Atlanta, or
it's
he was in that group too.
crying time again. You're gonna miss me. Yeah, all that stuff. And I mean, I didn't have a taste for the blues, but when Elvis was the only one who took the black music, put a white face on it, and then gave homage back to the black faces where it came from. And some of the black faces treated their own kind worse than white slave owners did.
Mm-hmm.
There were more black slave owners in Georgia than there were white slave owners. But nobody knows that because they messed with history. They rewrote history. But Dinesh D'Souza, when he came over here from India, the caste system from India began to discover this and began to go through the growth of this nation and the Jim Crow laws and what happened after the Civil War and the Underground Railroad. Do you know what the Underground Railroad really was? It was music.
Uh-huh.
That's how they communicated. I've been working on the railroad all my live long day. Take that kid over there. I've been working on the railroad. Get the cotton over there. On, Dinah, won't you go? Dinah, won't you go? Dinah, won't you go? Don, 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 don. And all those songs we learned as kids, right?
Mm.
And then you had Dick, Jane, and Sally, and Spot, the dog. And Dick, well, talking about dicks, this woman that I met that's coming in from Newport Richie, I haven't had a hard dick like this in a long time. I woke up and that sucker was as hard as a freaking rock. Oh, I got to take this call really quick. Can I call you back?
All right.
All right. See you.
Bye.
Bye. Carolyn, what is going on in your life?
Oh, so much.
Tell me. Tell me.
Well, why don't you start? I've got till 9 my time.
What, did you have an accident? Did you have a fall? Did you break?
What?
Did you break something?
No, I can't talk when I first wake up. I have to have at least 30 minutes of meditation.
Oh, okay. Oh, God.
No. No, I just, you never mind. Okay, so what's going on with you?
I'm
Yeah.
involved with a lot of people that are Trump supporters.
Not good. Not at all.
Well, I know them. I'm a musician. We're doing a lot of various things. I've worked with a lot of prison people and all these other things, and it's just happening. I mean, you're either on one side of the fence or you're on the other side of the fence. And
it's really too bad. There shouldn't be a fence at all, and unfortunately, certain people created that fence. I mean,
yeah, and
our politics might be different, Logan, and that has nothing to do with our friendship.
Exactly.
Really sad.
I know.
Really.
I know. I don't like the fence. I don't like the paint. I don't like the throwing of stones. I don't like any of it. But
no, that wouldn't be you.
It's not.
That wouldn't be you.
It's not. So I have to sort of avoid all of it and just kind of get around it and smile. I had a good friend, and he's still a friend. 28 years as a tennis player. You met Alice Sereno. You played tennis with her. I'm not just saying Alice. Alice and I are still friends. But this friend of mine, he the other night, and there's 8 of us playing. He went on a tirade, and he didn't know any of us. We're not on his political side of the fence, and we've been playing tennis for years. And he'll arrive on the court. I hate fucking Trump. It's like, well, you didn't ask what I like. I know what you like, Logan. But how about Dennis? You didn't ask what Dennis likes. He's from Chicago, and it's like you're just assuming that everybody's on the same side of the, 4 dead in Ohio, the Vietnam War, Watergate. I mean, listen, We're all
Yeah.
old enough to have gone through a lot of various things. I've got scars from things that I've had to do. You know,
Right.
I had to deal with Vietnam. So
Right.
so and so we have a United States. I think they're united. I hope they'll stay united.
I think healing will come. I really do.
Yeah, so do I. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And
Yeah.
reestablished myself here. I have an opportunity to buy an entire motel, 11-room motel
Where?
in
Where?
Nokomis. In Nokomis, it was built in the
Okay.
50s, and I'm not into buying something and taking a bulldozer to it. This is a block.
Uh-huh.
This is block. I found
Uh,
one that's another one that's block, and it's got a cement ceiling. You could put a tank on top of it. It's
oh
amazing
yeah,
how well
yeah.
they built these things.
Yeah.
So what's going
Oh.
on? What's going on? Are you still dating the
Oh.
same man that you were when I last saw you?
Oh no, no, no. There's been so many.
Well, you're absolutely gorgeous, so no wonder.
No, Logan. No,
Yes, you
Logan.
are.
I,
I
it
took,
has nothing to do with that, Logan. It's more like you have to find someone that you're really comfortable with and
right,
that you're attracted to as well. And
exactly.
I think that's very hard.
Oh, it
Oh my
is.
gosh,
It is. It is.
very hard.
But have you been back on the Beamer or anything? If you get back into town, I'm going to give you all kinds of. No, seriously. I've got people. I've got a woman coming in from New York. She's got
Yeah.
count 7 Beamers. Her name is Margarita, and she worked with some of the finest doctors in New York City. Her mother is right across the street from Fox Lee. Are you familiar with
Okay.
Fox Lee?
No, hon.
Fox Lee is a huge 45-acre um, horse equestrian farm where they come in
Oh,
and they jump over and they've got purses of $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 purses. Margarita's coming in here, and I met her several years ago in
uh,
Darien and in New Canaan, and we've been all of us these Beamer dealers. We are all networkers. We all help
uh-huh.
one another. We all help
Yeah,
market. This thing is still so new, but it's changed
yeah.
the way that I digest food. It's changed my energy level, everything. So if you eat good and you do all of things right, and then I sleep on this thing, Carolyn.
Okay. All
Well,
right,
when I exposed that woman that came through when we were at
right.
your
Pelican
place,
Con. Yeah.
and I wrapped her knee 3 times, and before she headed out to Pennsylvania, she said, "I think I'll buy one of these things." And it's like, this thing's $6,000. It's almost 7,000. I think I'll buy one of these. Okay, now we're talking. And I never found out from her.
Oh.
Did you follow up? Did you, because the people that I was involved with that were selling me
Yeah.
this, they dropped out, and you can't get any
Uh,
support. So now I've got a biologist working with me, other doctors that can help explain to people that are more scientific in their thinking, and I'm just not that way. I got to move. And so
yeah.
we've got more available. And see, you were one of my first guinea pigs. Now,
Right.
when you were laying down on it, I got pictures of you because you're a tall woman. You
Right.
stretch out and you need a flat surface to lie down so that the frame of your bone structure, you can lay
Mm-hmm.
down. And then I zapped you and I zapped you, and I got lots of pictures of you, which I never showed anybody. I will send them
Thank
to
you.
you. No, I'll send them to you so that go, this was like a year ago, Carolyn, I think.
Yeah, was it okay?
So,
Oh,
you don't even know how you feel, but I think at that time you had some issues that were bothering you. And I said, well, all right, now do this. And then I think I wrapped the belt around one part of you, and then you know, then off you went to Kansas City, and off I went to somewhere. We went and had something to eat, but it was before the COVID hit,
that's right. That's right.
and life was much different.
Life was much different.
So are you?
So I have not been able. This is the first time I've lost 2 tenants. Um, I have nobody in my unit in Florida.
Wow.
I can't come down. I have too many commitments with my grandbabies and my kids. So I won't come down until April.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, yes, how different. How
I know.
different it all is.
I know. And, you know, my son still works down the street for the fire department, and he's a paramedic, and he says how hard it is to come get people in your complex because of how big the trucks are.
I know.
So,
I know.
anyhow,
Yeah.
that gives you a thumbnail sketch of what's going on with me. So you're okay. That's good. And,
Yeah.
and your
I will, Pat. Remember, Stacy is back. Remember, I wanted to hook you two up. So, in fact, maybe
I actually,
did you?
I did meet somebody, so I don't need a hookup anymore.
No. This is Stacy she's the equestrian.
Oh, that's right. Now I remember. That's right.
This is business.
Okay.
This is business. Yeah, she's back and trying to figure out what she's doing. And I had talked about getting you two together in terms of, maybe networking.
Yes.
So you still work with you were working with some woman who was an equestrian, if I remember.
I got 3 or 4 now. Mary Frances is her name.
Oh God.
Mary.
You two should. Yes. All right. So you can tell me no, Carolyn, but I can also. I need to contact Stacy.
Contact everybody that you know that is an equestrian and they all know one another. And then this is what I've learned: you stay out of the equestrian world unless you know how to talk to horses. You just stay out of it.
She does. She's a horse whisperer.
Okay, well, you see, this is why it's very difficult for horse whisperers and people like me to talk, because I'm in sales and I'm in business. And so what we do is we get equestrians together with other equestrians, and then I'm the neutral person. I'm the contact point, and that's how it works. And it's still, this is so new. Maybe 1% of the population down here even knows what a beamer is. So it's really easy for me to say, well, Stacy, Carolyn recommended that I give you a call. I want you to meet Mary Frances. Oh, I know Mary Frances. And then, bam, I'm out of the circle.
Okay.
So, the more you know, the more friends that you know that are riders, and like, I've got my friend Leslie Malin down in Englewood, and when I first went out with her, thought she was so strange, and then I began to understand when Mary Frances said, "Logan, when I take you into these stables and stuff, keep your mouth shut. You don't know about horses; they're powerful, powerful animals." I go, "Oh, you're right, Mary Frances." And so when we were sitting having a meeting with Clay, the owner, and one of the horses got agitated, I'm just sitting like there's just a wall between me, and it's a metal wall. That hoof hits the it's agitated. It doesn't like what we're talking about, and it hits it, and it sounds like a bomb went off. Because it's metal against metal. Those hooves. So that's why she said, "Logan, be quiet." You playing much tennis at all?
Here's what happened to me. I played a lot this summer, and I found a new group that I could play with outside, and so that was wonderful. So my right hip acted up.
Yeah.
And I was also working out with a trainer. I think the two together did it. So now I have what they call osteoarthritis in my right hip. But I do daily exercises for it. I'm just careful. And so actually I did not play from August until I was down in Pelican Cove for 3.5 weeks in November. And I think I played 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. So
have you picked up pickleball at all?
I don't care for it.
I don't.
It's all right.
Yeah,
it's all right. I much much rather play tennis.
Oh yeah. I have to have a big field and I got to move fast. I joined the Longboat Key club up on Longboat Key, and I was working with a 35-year-old who was once coached in the satellite as a college player, and I put him through a routine, and he was like almost exhausted. And I go, "Hey, dude, I'm twice your age," and he's huffing and puffing. I go, "What do you have for breakfast?" And he goes, "Beer." I go, "Stop! Get that diet. That's a terrible diet." And he goes, "Well, I was out the night before. I'm not married and I'm looking to meet someone." I go, "Michael, you want to meet somebody?
Yeah.
Don't kill yourself." Well, I'm strong enough. I go, "You're a bull, but bulls don't play tennis that well." Unless you know how to dance like a ballerina. So I started training him, and he's backing off, and he's starting to slow down. And I go, "Stop trying to kill the ball. You're gonna pull your shoulder out of its socket, and you're gonna have tendonitis. You're gonna have all these things. You guys, because you're in your mid-30s, you think you're Superman. You're not. You're stupid men, is what you are."
Right.
So,
right.
So,
So did you go to the? I did like what's it? The Zebra Bar. I did like the Zebra. I love the concert music. Oh my gosh.
We went.
What's going on there?
We went there and it got closed down. They closed it down. But there's a place called Mad Mo's. You know where Mad Mo's is, right?
Yes, I do.
We went there, and I met a filmmaker who's gonna. Now, are you sitting or standing?
I'm sitting on my couch with my coffee.
He's going to do a documentary on my life, and that means that we're going to have to, if you want to even be interviewed about my life, we need to sign a release, and we need to see how much you want to be a part of this documentary. And it may be like the documentary that was done on Michael Jordan's life. And you can watch the documentary on Jordan's life and how they took the Bulls, and where they took the Bulls to when he moved out to Chicago when they drafted him. It's over 11 or 12 hours on Netflix. This particular filmmaker, his father worked with Frank Sinatra, and they were interviewing me yesterday. And, I would say something like, "Well, you remember this song?" And he's like 52. And, I got 20 years on him. And he looks over at my friend Mac, who's 73. And he goes, "Is this guy for real?" And he smiles and he goes, "Yeah, just listen to him." And so I would say, well, back during the Jersey Boys, Frankie Valli, and he would go and sing. And I go, no, stop. And he goes, "Okay." And I go, "You got to understand, in 7th grade, when you hear for the first time, Sherry, baby, Sherry, baby." And the guy's like, "Whoa, what are you, a walking, talking jukebox?" I go, "Yes." "Well, how about, did you do Ray Charles? Oh, it's crying time again. You're gonna leave me. Wow. How about Jerry Lee Lewis? Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. How about Elvis? He ain't nothing but a hound dog. Or, Roy Orbison. Crying over you. And he's like, the guy was like, "Whoa, where did you come from?" "Well, I lived in those days." "What days?" "In the 1950s." And he goes, "You were around then?" I go, "Yeah." "Remember Patty Page?" "Kind of."
No, I didn't love that.
"How much is that doggy in the window?" Or how about Pat Boone? "On a day like today, we pass the time away." Or how about Dean Martin? and on and on and on and on and on. And Mac is just laughing. And this guy's a film. He teaches as a professor in Sarasota. He teaches students that are in his class. He goes, well, did you know
What's his
Robin?
name?
I don't know.
Logan, what's his name?
His first name is Gus. His last name
Okay, I don't know him. Because I
escapes.
know there's a guy named Michael, and I think he used to date a girlfriend of mine, and they broke up, but he's living somewhere in Sarasota, but he was in the filmmaking industry also. Anyway, that's why I thought it could be Michael. It's Michael Hurst. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sure
Interesting.
they know one another, because the book that
Maybe.
he handed me his book and I handed him my book, and his book was like a dictionary. And I didn't have enough time to even peruse through it hardly at all. And he read my children's book, and that got his attention.
Oh.
So,
Oh.
long story short, they're doing this documentary, and they're going to begin it. I don't know when they're going to begin the filming, so I need to find out who's interested, and I got to have my cousin draw up release forms, because I was watching on YouTube last night that for all of the 30 years of Johnny Carson being on the Tonight Show, he'd never gotten
Right.
Elizabeth Taylor on the show. 3 months before he retires, she comes on. The reason why she wouldn't go on the show at all was because she, as a child actress, was very shy. And she was pushed around by MGM and other of the big executives,
Yeah.
along with Katharine Hepburn, who I met, who was in my store twice in Boca Grande. I got to know her personally.
Huh.
So Elizabeth Taylor comes on, and she starts to get relaxed as she's sitting there and joking with Ed McMahon and stuff. And Johnny Carson was visibly nervous and then Elizabeth Taylor starts talking about the influence and the relationship that she has with Michael Jackson. Of course, he's passed away and she's passed away. And then Michael Douglas, not Kirk Douglas, Michael Douglas comes on the program. And I fell asleep, and then I woke up and it was over with. But at least it's on YouTube, and I've got the YouTube channel, and I can go back and research these things. But I don't know about you, but I remember so vividly Howdy Doody. It's Buffalo Bob. I remember Annette Funicello on the Mickey
Yeah, I
Mouse
remember
Club,
her.
right? Now it's time to say goodbye to all your company. MIC, see you real soon. KEY, why? Because we love you. MOUSC, or how about going all the way back to Lady and the Tramp and Davy Crockett. Davy Crockett, king of the wild frontier, born on a mountaintop in Tennessee. Killed him a bear before he was 3. So nobody knows this about me, especially my own children. And my granddaughters hardly even know this about me because of the COVID. And they sit on the other side of the political spectrum. They're